You might be special to your mama, but you are not special to the soul process. You will have to go through the life review. But doing it while we're alive gives us a chance to change what we're viewing. So it could be really bad rom-com, or it could be the most engaging, cannot believe this documentary is so powerful and uplifting. And look at all the love I got to experience in this lifetime. And that's what I want to be chomping on my popcorn and drinking my Coke too, because I can probably have soda on the other side too. I can have it here. I choose not to.
Well, welcome to Intuition, Your Success Compass. I'm Vicki Baird, your host and wisdom-led mindset coach. This podcast is where intuition meets strategy and mindset meets meaning. I help smart, successful humans stop overthinking and start trusting their inner wisdom, because your clarity, self-surety, and next-level life are already within you. With over 2 decades of coaching experience, a knack for systems, and a gift for spotting what's off, be it a saboteur thought or an out-of-alignment choice, I'm here to help you connect your brilliant brain with your soul's knowing. You'll get grounded insights, little humor, and real-life tools to create change that actually sticks, like your go-to morning brew, familiar, grounding, and the nudge you didn't know you needed. And I love coffee, so that works too.
You might be special to your mama, but you are not special to the soul process. You will have to go through the life review. But doing it while we're alive gives us a chance to change what we're viewing. So it could be really bad rom-com, or it could be the most engaging, cannot believe this documentary is so powerful and uplifting. And look at all the love I got to experience in this lifetime. And that's what I want to be chomping on my popcorn and drinking my Coke too, because I can probably have soda on the other side too. I can have it here. I choose not to. You might be special to your mama, but you are not special to the soul process. You will have to go through the life review. But doing it while we're alive gives us a chance to change what we're viewing. So it could be really bad rom-com, or it could be the most engaging, cannot believe this documentary is so powerful and uplifting. And look at all the love I got to experience in this lifetime. And that's what I want to be chomping on my popcorn and drinking my Coke too, because I can probably have soda on the other side too. I can have it here. I choose not to. Well, hi there. Thank you for joining me for this episode of Intuition, Your Success Compass. Guess what? This is episode 300. And also, guess what? It's my 56th birthday. Well, it will be when this airs. Obviously, I have to record it ahead of time so it can get edited and pushed out. But the 300th podcast episode lands on my 56th birthday. I could not have planned that better if I tried. I didn't plan it, but I will definitely take the cosmic synchronicity that is happening. It was so fun when I figured it out, and then I started counting, and then I planned it out, and I'm like, whoa, it actually lands on the anniversary of my birth. And that's really fun. I've never been a big celebrate my birthday as in party and gifts and all of that kind of stuff. It's just not my thing. But the day itself, I have always, well, since I had my own business, celebrated it the way I wanted to celebrate it. So sometimes that means I'm working. Sometimes, some years I would take the day off. Sometimes I would go away for the day. It just depends on what I'm feeling leading up to it that my soul and my body actually need. This year, as you're listening to this, I am in a cabin overlooking some beautiful hills with some equines, and I will be writing and pulling forth from me whatever book wants to come out, ebook, big book, don't know, not sure. I just know that that's where I need to be, and that's what I will be doing. And it happens to fall on a Wednesday, so that's kind of fun too. I would like to thank all of you who've listened, reviewed, sent in topic ideas, and supported this podcast from day one or day yesterday. Whenever you showed up, however long you've been here, I am just so proud. I'll be honest, over the years, I've thought, you know what? There's not a return on investment for this. I have gotten clients from it, so I do consider that a return. But as far as advertising or a stream of income coming in through the podcast, it's never been a priority and it's not happening. And there have been times where I thought, I'm just not going to do it anymore. I don't know that it's serving a purpose or that it's hitting numbers that actually make all that big of a difference. And then I remembered when I started this, my original intention was if it helps one person per episode, and I don't need to know about that one person, I just have to trust that that one person is being helped or heard something that can inspire, then it has served its purpose. And that's what I'm going with. So that's how we've reached 300 episodes. And I am just so grateful and so incredibly appreciative of Enrique, who listens to the podcast first because he does the editing, makes it sound good, does all of the graphics, the promotion, puts together the social media posts, and basically gets it to you and saves me hours and hours of doing that. I used to love the editing process and pushing it out, but that making sure it got there by Wednesday, well, Tuesday night actually, to be ready for Wednesday, that wasn't my favorite part. And I love that I don't even think about it anymore. I just get to do this part, approve the posts, and off we go. So thank you, Enrique. I am absolutely blessed that the universe and both of our energies conspired to have us working together. And trust me, Enrique has the patience of every saint out there when it comes to Vicki and some of her squirrel moments. So today I'm going to talk about something fun. Yes, fun. Our life review. You know the thing that I've talked about before that we all do when we croak, we get to watch our movie and we get to experience and feel how other people felt as a result of our conscious actions. Okay, conscious. So if you were a ding dong in your 20s and you did something that you weren't necessarily conscious about, don't worry about it. Will it come up? Probably. But there's not a judgment around it. There's no judgment on the other side anyway. It's all about learning how can you grow and where is the expansiveness in whatever we're talking about. So that life review, I have often joked that when I get there, I want to be eating my cheddar popcorn because I'm assuming I can have dairy on the other side. And I want to be just popping it in and saying, you did all right, Vic. You did all right. We'll work on the whatever's left for you for me once I croak, but and work on it in between lifetimes and then work on it in the next lifetime. But I want to be pretty bored. I want to feel like I did my very best in every situation to show up with love, understanding, boundaries, humor, reverence for divinity, and the universe and earth and the animals and just served well in the time that I was here and had a pretty freaking good time doing it. I believe, though, that we are really missing an opportunity to wait for our croaking to do our life review. We can do it at any point during our lives and ought to do that before there's an illness, before there's a life-changing event. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Every one of us is going to get that life review after you croak. There's no getting out of it. Don't think you're special. You might be special to your mama, but you are not special to the soul process. You will have to go through the life review. But doing it while we're alive gives us a chance to change what we're viewing. So it could be really bad rom-com, or it could be the most engaging, cannot believe this documentary is so powerful and uplifting. And look at all the love I got to experience in this lifetime. And that's what I want to be chomping on my popcorn and drinking my Coke too, because I can probably have soda on the other side too. I can have it here. I choose not to. So avoiding it and waiting until you croak just means that you stay stuck in a pattern, and you may stay in relationships that you knew you could leave, break up with, just not have communication with much earlier. And it also means that we may stay in habits that aren't serving us or lighting us up. And that's why I feel like it's important at various times in your year, not just your life, but in your year, to take consideration of your life and asking a question like, do I like how this chapter is reading? And I remember recently thinking about all of the changes I've made in my life and where I am today and how blessed I feel because I did the friggin' work, but also to be a human in this time. And I also remember thinking, I'm not entirely lit up by this chapter that I'm in right now. I love my life. I love who I'm with. I love my animals. I actually do love every day. But Vicky, myself, I was not feeling lit up. So I did this exercise and I fast forwarded myself to the end of my life. And I did it right before I croaked. And I was looking back on it and I said, take me back to that time where I was 55 and loving everything about my life and yet still not feeling completely lit up inside. And what that was my distractibility, my distractedness, that's a better word, my distractedness. I was feeling like I was all over the place. So what I ended up doing was asking my future self, like, okay, then what did I do about it? How do I change it to be in this place where I'm so proud of myself and very comfortable in leaving this physical body because I have shown up in the highest way I know how in every moment. So it became something simple as putting an app blocker on my phone so I cannot access social media during the day. It was something that simple. But what that led to was a presence of mind. It led to my adrenals being calmer. It led to the brain process not being as distracted because, there's an addiction to scrolling. There's an addiction to what's next, what's next, what's next. And I already have a restless saboteur. I don't need to be feeding that thing sugar. So it's a question you can ask yourself too. Do I like how this chapter is reading? Do I like what I'm seeing in this screenplay at this moment? And if not, revise it, rewrite it, do something about it that allows you to open your possibility chamber in your head and your heart and be honest about what you're seeing and be honest about what kind of sucks. So, let's talk about how to do your life review right now before the croaking, ideally with some good snacks. I just had some gluten free buffalo pretzel bites. They could be hotter. They taste okay, but I like my buffalo to singe the top of my mouth. And they were amazing while I was writing up this podcast. And having a sense of humor, good snacks, and a sense of humor will help with the self acceptance and also the reality check of, well, how is it that I want to be experiencing my life in the now so that later I say, good job, kiddo, and you high five yourself. Don't worry. You don't need to get out a journal, although you could. You don't need a spreadsheet for this. You don't even have to do a retreat, although highly recommend them. And a solo retreat, even more so. That could be a day, it could be a couple hours. It doesn't have to be go away to some special place that costs a fortune. And you don't even need a coach, but hey, I'm right here for you. What you do need is honesty and curiosity. I'm going to ask you a few questions. They're the same questions I ask myself when I'm doing the review. And you can tell by my chuckle that it's not always the easiest thing to do, but I promise you, you will be proud of yourself for doing it. Okay. So here are the questions. What am I proud of? What am I avoiding? Where am I lying to myself? Even a little bit. Where do I feel lit up? And where do I feel flatlined? This one's my favorite part. If I watched my life movie tonight, what parts would make me proud? And what parts would make me say, girl, get up? And that's where the humor comes in, okay? This is not about taking an inventory to beat yourself up for what has not been accomplished. We're not doing that, remember? We are feeling proud of who you are and fully present to the moment and ask these questions without judgment. So then the next step I'll do is acknowledge that my saboteurs are going to show up. They just do, because that's part of our wiring as a human. They're going to say, don't rock the boat. You're doing fine. Don't ask questions you don't want answers to. What are you thinking about? Everything's good. And in my case, that absolutely was true, but there was just something that wasn't feeling on target. And your sage or your wisdom side is going to say, this is your story. You get to edit, revise, and even reimagine it anytime you want. I often say, when it comes to those who have more years around the sun, more trips around the sun, and people will give excuses. Well, they're old, they're this, they're that. Nope, nope, nope. Sorry. You're sucking oxygen. We are going to have a truth talk. So it does not matter if you're on your way out, that you could still edit, revise, and reimagine what your process could look like. Okay. And your intuitive self, your soul self will say, you already know. You know what will light you up. Let's take that one brave step and ask these questions. That's all we got to do. One brave step and ask one question at a time. So, why don't we do that? If you can, close your eyes, take a deep breath. Imagine it's 20 years from now. You're sitting on a porch. You have a drink of choice in hand. Make mine strong lemonade, thank you. Reviewing your life. What would the future you wish you'd done differently right now? And whatever feedback you get in whatever form it comes to you, take it seriously. Don't laugh it off or say, well, that's not possible. Take it seriously. And remember, micro movements matter. So we don't have to be doing great big leaps here, but make a change. Do the one thing that will help you feel like you are answering to that 20-year from now you and high-fiving them when you get there. Okay? So one of the benefits of an honest review is that you actually do take back the creative control of your life. And that's something that I feel like a lot of us forget as adults because we get so involved in the day to day and wrapped up in drama and not fully excited about our process, our soul process and our human process. So that creative control of your life, you don't have to announce it to anyone. You don't have to let anyone in on your big ideas or your desires or wants. I actually often suggest that people don't share until it's time for publication or launching, because there are a lot of other saboteurs that exist in other people. And we don't need to bump into them. We got our own crew, right? So taking back creative control of your life is a benefit of that honest review. And you get to free up the emotional energy that's tied up in denial or avoidance. It just takes so much extra energy. That's not me eating a snack. My dog Buzz just found one of the pretzels I dropped. Welcome to my office. So the benefits of the honest review just keep going. You make better decisions. You make it from your sage and not your saboteur. And if you want to learn how to do that, my Mindset Breakthrough program is perfect for them. And then with an honest review, when you stop lying to yourself, you take a deep breath and then you open the door up to more joy and more alignment with yourself and more you-ness. Is that a word? You-ness? It's not a word. We're going to make it a word. Your uniqueness, your, is it Ashley Carter says your onlyness, your onlyness. So the only way to get to your you-ness or your onlyness is by honest review, by looking at the things that work and don't work, and by being willing to shift them up if possible. So one of the things that I decided in this last life review for myself was I was going to start asking for. I've not been someone who would typically ask something for myself. Somebody else needs something, oh, you better believe it. I will ask and promote and throw it out there. But it's not something that I've done as a practice, even in my relationships. And that's not a good thing because the other person loves you. They want to give, they want to provide and help and ease your way. And it's just something that I've had a real hard time with. And I decided this year that I was going to ask for things. If I felt like I wanted something, or if there was a collaboration I wanted to do. And of course, people are allowed to say no thank you. They are allowed to not even answer my emails. Sometimes I'll send out surveys and I get crickets. I hear crickets in the background. And I'm like, well, they're allowed to do that. But you know what? I'm going to ask because that's the commitment I made to myself. And when I did my fast forward review and I looked back at this time, that was one of the things that was missing is my willingness to allow others to help me or to participate in a way that they bring their brilliance to my life. And that helped me revise my script because as a coach, as a human, as an intuitive, as this podcaster, I have to keep growing. I have to keep expanding. And it's very important to me to be in integrity. So if I'm asking you to do these things, you better believe I've already done them, and that's what made them into an episode. So ask yourself right now, if I keep living like this, what will the end of my story feel like? If it feels anything less than zippity doo dah, you can ask, what's one thing I could tweak so the ending feels like me? Like me. It's very common for a client to say, I don't know who I am. And that's a statement that lights me up because I really feel one of my gifts is in introducing people to themselves. I introduce you to your brilliance because I'm not afraid to say in a session, excuse me, did you not show up for yourself in this way? And you stopped doing that and you cleaned this up or you produced this. I like reminding people of their successes because the brain will go 3 to 1 to a negative thought, 3 negative thoughts to a positive. So if you want to feel like you're fully living before you croak, what's one thing you could tweak right now so that not only the ending feels like you, but living feels like you? You know what? The bravery in the trans community will always make me cry because we are all striving to be ourselves. And there's too binary of a process in this world right now for everyone to feel completely of themselves. So when somebody whew, does that life review and knows that they will not feel fulfilled or joyful or loved, and I mean loved by self, not other people, by not living their fullest expression, and then they go ahead and do that, and then especially right now, living in danger of persecution and death and everything, come on. And I will think of that, and, there's no one that has to hold that place of being my inspiration, that's my job to do. But you know what? Sometimes we do need to look outside of ourselves and see where someone else is being brave and take that step to be brave for ourselves. And that's my go-to. And I have very close connections with some of the loveliest people you will ever meet on this planet, and I watch what they go through. And to me, that's a soul, that is a human that is hearing their soul at the very deepest, deepest level. So find your inspiration around you, okay? If you can't find it from within, find it from around you to do this life review because you want to make sure that you are living in your most aligned way. And it gets easier and easier. The more you do it, it gets easier to be who you are and you use less effort, right? So that's my quest in this lifetime. I want to do as few human lifetime go arounds as I possibly can. So my message for the last, I'd say, decade and a half has been, okay, what can I learn? And I want to learn it in this lifetime so that I am able to do my life review and be somewhat bored and yet proud of myself. But also so that I don't have to come back as many times. I'm nosy, but I don't really want to do that. So the most important part of all of this in the life review before you croak is to make sure you are celebrating the fact that you are willing to look at it, because between you and I, let me tell you, about 80% of the humans on this planet will croak without doing any kind of life review. They just will. Maybe they don't know about it. Maybe they don't want to do it. Maybe they're in denial of the fact that they're actually going to croak too, when hello, it's just part of the whole process. Or maybe they just don't give a hooey about living integrous, connected, aligned lives. So celebrate the fact that you are even listening to a podcast like this because you want to expand who you are. Okay. I am going to celebrate 300 episodes. That's a lot of talking, but I didn't have the nickname of Chatterbox for some unknown reason. I'm also celebrating 56 years. Every year, my life has gotten better and better and better. And I'm so excited to see what this is because 5, 6 is an 11 master year. Hello. Still learning to love even deeper and still laughing because if you don't have humor, I do not know how you get through life. And my ability to find the humor in things definitely comes from the spirit world and how much seriousness is not revered. And I am still very much reviewing my life, the script that is my life, and checking in on a daily basis to whether it lines up with me. So thank you so much. Thank you for sharing my birthday with me. And I really encourage you to share what came up with me. Use the hashtag before you croak because come on, that's funny. And I would love to invite you to this month's workshop, which will be based somewhat on this theme of the birth cycle, life, croaking, and how to really connect with your soul. So the link will be in the show notes and then up on the website at vickibaird.com. So your soul already knows you rock. It knows that you are the best thing since real dairy cream cheese. But your human self, she deserves, he deserves, they deserves, they deserve, we deserve to choose how to feel good and then to feel that blissful connection of your soul and your human self with a very balanced brain. I know I have high hopes for the human race, and I love that about me. So happy birthday to me. Happy day to you. And take care. And I'll see you in the next episode.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you for listening. If it sparked something, pass it on. And when you're ready to go deeper, just a click away at vickibaird.com. Trust your gut, quiet the noise. You've got this.